Good morning, everybody. This is Chris around the ATL. I did not get a chance to watch the second part of the draft yesterday. I didn't get home till very late, and frankly, forgot about it. So I'm not going to talk about that. What I want to talk about, I will talk about it, but just not right now. Again, I will do an actual draft show. Hopefully, with my co-host Jordan Jackson on Around the ATL on the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and watch games 1, 2, and 3 of the Knicks versus Hawks playoff series that I did a shot-by-shot review of how the Knicks scored against us. Which brings me to my actual point this morning. To continue to try... Let me just say this first before I get even really started. There is a difference between criticism and hatred. Criticism means you're being critical about something or someone and an aspect of that something or someone that you think could be improved upon. Hatred is different. Hatred makes you say things that are completely not true. You see what I'm saying? Slander is saying something to ruin the reputation of someone. Remember I did an episode about slander not too long ago and bad journalism and everything? What you say, it counts. You see what I'm saying? To be critical about something, that's fine. And back it up with some facts. Being critical. But hatred, that's completely different. That's completely different. Because now your hatred is making you say things are just not true. You can't back it up. You're saying it and you're hoping that people believe you just because you say it. You say it out loud and you think it has to count because you said it out loud? No. If it's a lie, it's a lie. That's it. If it's not true, it's not true. That's it. There's nothing that you can do to change that. You can't change the truth. So before I get into exactly what I want to say this morning, for 7 seasons, people said, well, we're losing all these games because of one person. Nobody else has anything to do with basketball on this team except for one person. We're losing all of these games because of the defense of one person. Again, by definition, that's idiotically stupid because there is no NBA basketball game that's 1-on-5. There is no basketball game in the NBA that's 1-on-11. 5 people plus the people on the bench that might play. There's no game footage you can show of that because that's the only way you could be actually right about that. Understand that. The other reason that was never true is because Trae Young never played the best offensive player on the other team because he's not the best defender on the team. So why would you do that? Why would you, in any galaxy, multiverse, whatever, think that that's a positive strategy? What did dude say? That's a bold strategy there, Cotton. Remember I used to say that all the time? What sense would that make? What plausible sense would that make to put the worst defender, the smallest guy on the court, against the biggest guy on the other team? What sense would that make? What sense would it make? I still want someone just to answer that question. And if you can't answer it, why keep saying it when you know it's not true? You know simply it is not true. It just, what is this person doing? Is he making a left? Is he making a, what is he doing? I don't know, man. Hope you didn't think I was going to wait for him. It's not true. The other thing, if Trae Young was actually giving up 30 points a game, every game, and giving us Jeff Teague numbers or Kirk Heinrich numbers or Dan Dickau numbers, Now you have an argument I can vibe with. Because not only is he giving up 30 points a game, he's only creating 15 points a game, 18, 20 points a game. On top of that, yeah, that can't even out. Now we got to get rid of him. See, I would have agreed with that. But see, that's not true. He wasn't giving up 30 points a game. He wasn't giving up 20 points a game. There's games he's giving up 20 points, but every game? No, you can't say that. Nowhere near say that. It's egregious to even think it because we have game film. You see what I'm saying? We could prove it. Game after game after game. And we know he wasn't giving us Jeff Teague number because he's a career 25-10 player in history, which is not a whole bunch of people who can say that. Right? That's history. You can't fight history, can you? Some of you try to, and that's the whole point. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any plausible, actual sense to keep saying those things. Anytime he gave up 20 points in a game, you know what usually happened in that game? The Hawks gave up 150. So if he gave up 20 in that game, what about everybody else? You can't do the math. Can you? Are you that bad at math? If we gave up 150 and he gave up 20, that means there's 130 points given up by other players per the final score. Y'all don't get that? How come the other players weren't better at defense? How come there's players giving up more points than he is in the same game? Because if those players give up less points, we win the game. We literally lost the game by 2 points, 152 to 150, because the players who were supposed to be better at defense gave up 70 points combined. 3 players gave up 70 points. And y'all don't care about that. You don't say nothing about the players who gave up all the points, actually. You look at the playoffs and you don't care that one player was giving up 20, 23 points a game. You don't care. There's no Trae Young on the floor now. This is where it counts the most, which actually gets me into my actual subject this morning. You're going to fight on the hill till the bitter end to try to make viable Muhammed Gueye staying on this team still? Oh, well, Chris, you've been must have been watching different games than me, because every time he gets on the floor, he makes a difference on the floor on the defensive side. Now, that could be true. And sometimes it is true. Sometimes. But the sometimes aren't enough. What did I say? Moments have to eclipse to games. Those moments are not enough. You need games, plural, seasons, plural, to be a difference maker. Because if he was that much of a difference maker, you know what? He'd be on the floor all the time. He'd be on the floor all the time. He wouldn't be playing 10 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game. If he was doing Dennis Rodman damage on defense and not scoring, that'd be one thing. If he was such a stalwart on defense, we beat the New York Knicks just with him on the court. Was he on the court a lot, guys? Was he depended on to stop Cat? Put him on OG? Put him on Brunson? Was that happening? Because if he was that good on defense, guys, if he was giving us 3 blocks a game and 12 rebounds, and heck, if he was giving us 2 blocks a game and 7 rebounds every game, 8 rebounds, something. But that's not what his average is it? Every time he was in the game, Chris, he made a difference on defense. I'm sorry. That ain't true, because if it was really true, he'd be on the floor all the time. If it was really true, he'd be for sure the backup power forward on the Atlanta Hawks. If that was really true, he would have started all the games after JJ went down last year. We would have won 46 games last year if Muhammed Gueye was that good. I'm sorry. At a certain point, you just got to let stuff go. 4 or 5 points a game and 3 or 4 rebounds a night ain't going to cut it after 3 seasons. Because I see other players in their first year getting 12 and 6 right off the rip. That's different. That's bona fide. You can't keep them off the court, can you? I'm watching Harper out there with the Spurs, getting underutilized, and he's out there balling out of control, and he's fighting to stay on the court. That's coaching, ain't it? You see how weird that is? The person that's messing you up, you keep Fox out there messing it up for everybody, messing up all the works. But Dylan Harper, nah, you can't keep him out there to be clutch, even though he keeps proving it every time he touches the ball. He's out there balling out of control. But no, Fox though, you gotta put him out there because he makes all the money. That's crazy talk. There's producing and then there's producing. If you ain't producing, why are you out there? See, there's only a few Hawks in Hawks history that could ever claim that they were always producing. You can't figure out how to put players around the producers. That's management's fault. That's the owner's fault. You had a coach who continued to put bad players out there at the same time. The Vit Luke show, Keaton Wallace, all at the same time. They can't stop saying. But he put him out there anyway, and he would watch the league dissipate. And we're all throwing our hands up in the air. Why does he keep doing this? What is the reason? Does somebody have pictures? But y'all just shrug your shoulders because, oh, well, threes, right? That's how y'all legitimize it, right? But we lost games because of that mess too, though, guys. How do I know this? Because we lost 13 games between December 27th, Lord have mercy, and March 1st. Those 13 games, if we had won all of them, we have 59 wins. You win 7 of them, you're a 50-plus win team. But we lost 13 of them. 13 games. If we had won 4 of those games, we're a 50-win team. We're not the 6th seed, is my point. We win half of those games that we lost. You see what I'm saying? Again, fact. We didn't start that win streak when Trae Young got traded. That was January 7th. Were we on a win streak? Were we on an 11-game win streak January 7th? Yes or no? Oh, but Chris, no. That win streak didn't start until late February, early March. March 1st is when we got back to 500, folks. It took us from December 29th to March 1st to get back to 500. And Trae Young hadn't played since December 27th. And no one has nothing to say. And you don't want to make no players accountable for that. For the bad play, for giving up 140 points, 141 points, 138 points, 118 points, 116 points. All these games, we're just giving up massive points. Massive points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, stupid percentages from threes from the opponent. And you don't want to make nobody accountable ever. Year after year after year. Don't matter who, because of your hatred. Not basketball. Because basketball says if Muhammed Gueye was that good, I'm sorry. Mo G is cool and all. But when you go and draft basically his replacement, you already had Asa, and Asa wasn't getting minutes. For no reason. Asa can actually hit a jump shot and be active. We've synced it. And then he goes to G League and he proves it. Muhammed Gueye had his 3 years, guys. Are we trying to win a championship or nah? That's all I'm saying. And at a certain point, it got to be about that. Since you didn't want to build around the other player, you got rid of him. You didn't want to put no players around him that can actually do their jobs all the time, not just moments. Kevin Huerter will get you 20 points in a game, and then 8 straight games give you 10 or 11 moments. not enough. Hunter will give you 21 in the game, and then for 15 games, give you 12 moments. If Hunter was so good, he'd be on the Cleveland Cavaliers helping them win a championship. Yes or no? If Cam Reddish was good, he'd be on an NBA team helping them win a championship. Yes or no? If Kobe Bufkin was so doggone blasted good, he would be on the team helping a team win a championship. If Bruno Fernando was good, he'd be on the team helping them win a championship. Yes or no? I just want an answer. And nobody can ever give me an answer. All you can do is say, well, I mean, you know, these moments that he has are really good, Chris. I mean, do I know? Because there's game film, and I've shown it time and time and time again. If we're ever going to win a championship, we have to be able to have a couple of really good players and then surround them with the best fitting players possible. If you choose to build around your power forward, you got to put some better players around him. Right? Because if that power forward isn't one to be a ball handler necessary, you know, you got to have a ball handler. We had one, but whatever. You got to have someone who is clutch. We had one. You would just rather erase 7 years of being a clutch player in the fourth quarter, especially last 10 seconds of a game. Go look and see who the league leaders in NBA history are. 10 seconds left, hitting shots. Go look at that list. In the playoffs, go look at that list. Who's on it? You have a player that led the entire NBA in fourth quarter scoring. That don't matter. Again, I'm going to go back to Muhammed Gueye. If Muhammed Gueye was such a stalwart on defense, how come he's not the cat stopper? How come he wasn't on OG? How come he wasn't on Brunson? How come he just wasn't in the game, period? But he wasn't. He wasn't out there. You're not counting on him to play defense like that. If he was such a defensive stalwart, he'd be closing fourth quarters all the time. CJ wouldn't be out there. Why was CJ on Jalen Brunson? Why wasn't Dyson on Jalen Brunson? I'm still asking that question. There should have been no way in the world that somehow, some way, the Knicks were able to finagle Dyson Daniels to not be on Jalen Brunson. Dyson wasn't hurt, was he? There's game film, guys. There is no logical reason that Jalen Brunson shouldn't have had Dyson Daniels on him. This shot means potentially the series. Hawks up 2-1. I mean 1-1 in game 3, right? Knicks could have went up 2-1. Instead, the Hawks went up 2-1 because CJ was able to hit a shot. Again, we were 1 for 6 in free throws that quarter, last quarter, and 1 for 6 from 3. We still ended up winning. But Jalen Brunson did hit his shot and hit a free throw. They were up by 3. If CJ doesn't hit that shot, but if Muhammed Gueye was so good, why ain't he out there with his length? Why didn't he affect games 4, 5, and 6 with his defense? I know what the scores were, guys. I know how much we were down by. If he was so good, how come he ain't out there trying to stop stuff? Do I need to show y'all that Indiana game where he gave up 30 points in the game? To Siakam and Miles Turner? Do I got to show y'all that? Him and Bruno Fernando? They so good on defense. Indy scored 150 points in that game. To win a championship, you got to have better players. And the Hawks for years, for decades, Dominic Wilkins and up, we would rather put okay players around our best players. Guys, just some guys that run up and down the court. Guys that would not play on other teams. Guys that would not get no serious minutes on anybody else's team. But on the Hawks, they got to start. On the Hawks, they got to get 20 minutes a game? No, that's crazy talk. You can't win like that, guys. You can't. And the Hawks have proven it. What is the Hawks' overall record? How many times have they been in the finals? How many times have they been in the conference finals with an actual chance to win? Right? Division titles, how many do they have? 50-win seasons, how many do they have? But no, we gotta just keep on keeping on with the guys who can't really produce. And we watch all these other teams with players that produce all the time, regularly, all the time. No, we just gotta settle and be happy. We gotta take it. We gotta sit and take it. Yeah, this is the best we can get here, guys. Anyway, let me get out of here, guys. Make sure y'all subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide Radio YouTube channel to watch around the ATL. Got some new segments coming up. And Game 4, Knicks versus Hawks, to show y'all how bad it really is coming up soon. Peace.